Okay, well, welcome everybody to this meeting. There are some people here that I don't know, so I'm going to turn it over to Brown & Brown, and they've done a proposal for us for the retiree over 65 health insurance. And so I'll turn it over to you guys, and you can introduce yourselves and give us your presentation.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Sebastianelli. I'm a benefits consultant with Brown & Brown. I'm joined here by Jack McGowan, and Jack. It looks like the names are all Jack McGowan, which is not correct. We have Nikki Downs, we have Kristen Ford, and Jack McGowan. So Jack and I are co-consultants. We are benefit consultants with Brown & Brown. I've been doing this about 11 years. And Nikki and Kristen are account managers. So they support our clients on a daily basis and are also actively involved in implementation. So that's why we have, if you will, the whole team here. And it's my understanding that you all are part of the finance committee, right? And/or the board, is that correct? So we appreciate you taking some time. I know you have several other priorities and maybe full-time jobs that you guys are juggling. So we certainly respect that.
Dave, just so you know, Jamie and Bill are on our Board of Education, and Tom Brindley is our superintendent. So that's who's in the meeting today.
Great, thank you. Okay. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen. And in preparation for this discussion, we did put together a short presentation. We certainly want this to be conversational. Sorry, I have both my screens open here. Certainly want it to be conversational. So interrupt me, ask questions as we walk through this. I'm sure the team at Brown & Brown may add here and there to my comments. But I guess before I even get into the presentation, Brown & Brown, we are an independent insurance consulting firm. We have been recently working very closely with the Broome, Tioga, Delaware Health Insurance Consortium. They currently work with over 20 school districts and buy health insurance together, as you know, of course. They wanted to take that same philosophy and use that buying power to go out to the Medicare market, the retiree health insurance market, and see if the consortium could leverage its size and go out and find competitive quotes for the members of its consortium. So through that, they looked to Brown & Brown. They partnered with Brown & Brown as the independent consultant to do the work for them. So that's why we included a little bit about our company. We're not the insurance company. We're a third party. We represent BOCES and its component districts. Our job is to go out to the insurance markets to obtain the most competitive benefits at the lowest rates that we can on behalf of our customers. And then our team, we communicate, we implement, and we support you and your retirees throughout the year. And so our company, even though we're local, me and Jack, we're actually based in the Binghamton area. We're Southern Tier. We have many clients in the Southern Tier, including Cooperstown and many out the Oneonta way. Actually, Jack is an alum of SUCO. I don't know if he's allowed to go back to the Oneonta area, but he did graduate. But even though we are local, you know, we consider ourselves local people, upstate New York people living in the Binghamton region. We're represented by Brown & Brown. That's our company, and we're one of the largest insurance firms, consulting firms in the nation. So what does it really mean to you at Oneonta and your retirees? It means we get you access to national leverage, national resources. We get access to the carriers, and we can negotiate on your behalf, being one of the largest players in this market. So BTD came to Brown & Brown primarily because of our national strength, but also because of our experience. We currently manage 7 consortiums in upstate New York. Most notably is a Medicare Advantage consortium through DCMO BOCES. So we implemented a similar concept a couple of years back. We were able to positively impact 8 districts. We saved a significant amount of money with no change in benefits. And it was really just because of our ability to bring the group together, work with the insurance carriers, and get the right, get the best price possible. You can see on the right-hand side here, we do have lots of experience with many schools. We're going to give you a little bit about our company, our national strength. This is the team that you would be working with and or your retirees would be working with if they ever needed anything. You see the consultants at the top. We have underwriters on our staff, and then we have a dedicated team of people that are here to support. In addition, we have, in essence, a support center, what we like to call. I think a lot of your employees and, of course, your retirees go to Lisa and the staff there for questions. But our clients and our schools certainly look to Brown & Brown and our team as an additional resource. So we like to become an extension of Lisa, an extension of the resources that you have there. And this is all we do. We simply focus on employee benefits, and we support employees and retirees around this very topic. And so that's unlimited access to you and your retirees throughout the year. And then this is why we're here. Okay, so part of this initial analysis, out of the 20+ districts, there were 14 that came together and said, yes, we want to be part of this analysis. We're evaluating this. We need to do everything we can to maintain benefits and control costs. So those are the 14 districts that participated initially. We talked a lot about some of these benefits already, but this summarizes some of the reasons why districts would want to come together, why we were able to get some of the competitive pricing and benefits that we were able to, pooling together, leveraging the size, having one overall group. We were able to negotiate rate guarantees. So you'll see some of that in here. We actually have an 18-month rate guarantee. And then for obviously the people on the phone here, the financial aspect of it, the GASB reporting requirement tied to your retiree liability will be reduced when you carve out your retirees. The structure, so joining together under this consortium itself of Medicare Advantage, we want you to know that this is fully insured. So Excellus or the carrier is bearing the risk. You as the group, you're not paying your own claims. You're not held liable for other people in the consortium if they don't pay their premium. There's no financial buy-in to get into this. You just need to say, yes, we want to move forward. There's no claims run out if you ever leave the consortium. So it's simply a monthly premium, and you're just getting it at a lower rate through the consortium. This is the size. So we mentioned 14 districts. There's almost 2,800 retirees. There was about 31 total plans altogether when we looked at all of the different schools and all of the different health insurance plans, a lot of different variables. We were able to take those 31 plans and narrow it down to 3 that we feel meet the needs of all of the districts. And then I think really in your particular case for Oneonta, it's really just one particular plan that we think could match up really well with your current. Okay, so this is the process, which we can talk about in further detail, but it's been ongoing. We've had some initial conversations with the consortium. Over the last 3 weeks or so, we've been having these types of dialogue with many individual districts. At this point, we have about 8 out of the now 15 districts that are interested in moving forward. 6 or 7 of those as soon as possibly 7/1, July 1st. Others still evaluating and talking, and so, but lots of good momentum. I think it just speaks to, the fact that this will be getting up and running, and will be a great opportunity for Oneonta. On the right-hand side, I want everyone to just be aware that we did go to 5 different insurance carriers to request quotes. We consolidated down to the top 3 carriers. And then for this particular discussion, the most competitive carrier and the one that was able to meet the benefits most like current is Excelis. And so knowing that they're the current carrier, that's the carrier and that's the plan that we're going to focus on the most today. And this is just a quick summary, plan 1. So I'm going to pause there for a moment. Lisa, is there anything that you want to add? Any questions so far? Anything?
The only thing that I still have the question about is that the pharmacy, the mail order pharmacy, I think that I think you double checked, ours is 0. And so that's the $2. So I don't know if that changes anything here, but it's not a lot, but it will matter.
Yeah, it is something so we did update that.
Okay.
And so that will be something that we have to talk about as a group, because that does appear like it's slightly different.
Yep.
Than what we have today.
And we have to, match the benefits or be better. So.
Okay. Yeah. So that's certainly something that we could take back.
Okay.
Okay. I know Jamie, sounds like Jamie's having some issues with technology, but any other questions from anyone so far? And I'm going to get into the benefits here in detail. So. Okay, so what you're looking at here on the screen, and I apologize, it's maybe a little small to see there. This is the current medical plans being offered to your post-65 retirees and eligible spouses. So you'll see at the very top, we have 118 retirees enrolled in the Classic Blue, and then 109 enrolled in the Classic Blue Secure. The Classic Blue, this column right here is that first section, that first Classic Blue, and then this second column is the second plan. At the very bottom, you'll see the total monthly rates, current rates, total family rates. Based on the enrollment at the very top, you'll also see the monthly premium, the annual premium, and total combined annual premium. So today, annual premium is just over 2.3 million. That is total premium. So that doesn't take into consideration retiree costs. I know there's a majority of the cost falls on the district, but just want to call that out. So that's total premium. And then just to review the benefits, there is a $100 deductible per person on the Classic Blue today. Once they reach the $100 deductible, then they pay 20% coinsurance. They would pay the 20% coinsurance up to $400 cap. Okay. Under pharmacy, they would pay $5 for generic at the retail pharmacy, $20 for any other tier at the pharmacy. Lisa, we did go back to Excelis and we confirmed that mail order today under the current plan has a $0 copay for generics for a 90-day supply. For the other tiers, it's 2 copays. So that is the one caveat that, based on Lisa's comments, I know that we need to go back to Excelis and talk to them about to see if we can get them to add that feature. There There are no caps on the pharmacy today. So if they're taking, any of these other tiers drugs, they'll just be paying those copays throughout the year. On the Blue Secure, that plan looks more like what Excellus would consider like a Medicare sup plan, where it pretty much covers everything except for pharmacies at $1. Same rates. So we confirm that the rates are exactly the same, just slightly different benefits. So moving to the Excellus Medicare Advantage plan, I want to show you some of the differences and some of the enhancements. First, though, at the very top, you'll see the Medicare Advantage enrollment 227, that's combined. You will notice there is no deductible. There is no co-insurance. So all medical services, doctor visits, specialist visits, covered at 100%. Okay, so on this plan, the only thing the retirees would have to pay for are pharmacy copays. So at least initially, this initial proposal, what we're showing is $2 for generic, $10 for anything else. Mail order, same as retail. So you pay one copay for a 90-day supply. This plan also has a $1,000 cap on pharmacy. So if anyone ever reaches $1,000 in pharmacy copays, that retiree is covered in full for the remainder of the year. So while we realize, Lisa, to your point, we're very sensitive to current contracts, unions, current benefits, and wanting to recognize that, we have had some other situations where if the benefits weren't maybe identical, like this mail order example, does the deductible and no medical services offset that difference, or does the $10 tier 2, 3, and 4 offset, compared to the current 20? I guess my point is, I didn't know what what you and the committee felt. I think we've seen districts have different opinions on that, where you kind of know where I'm going with that, Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would offset it, but our language is that it has to be the same or better. So I don't have a problem with it, but I really, some people might if it's not the same or better. I think if it didn't go down to, if it wasn't a 0 like it is now, I guess it looks like the other rates would be better, so if they go to the pharmacy, they would be saving a lot more. And, $2 doesn't seem like a lot, but I guess that would be in the communication to the retirees, where you could point out that they're really saving a lot more in other places. So.
Yeah. And again, I don't want you to think that I'm pushing one way or the other. I just wanted to have that open dialogue. I think, quite frankly, between us, I think having a $0 90-day generic is a good thing. It's going to encourage people to take their medication, to get it through the mail. And so maybe that is something that we could talk to Excellus about and get it, considered added to the plan. Mm-hmm. I definitely will take that back. I just didn't, I thought maybe it would be worth just what you said. Maybe retirees will look at this and say, well, you know what? I have a lot more tier 2 and 3 medications that I take each month. And if on this new plan, it's only costing me $10,
right, then
maybe that would outweigh the offset of that 0 generic mail order.
I mean, it would, obviously, but it's still, if you get a few people who are not happy about that, it could really shoot down the whole plan. And, I'd hate to see that happen just because of a $2. And even if I would imagine there's going to be some cost if it's a 0 mail order, but I would still think that the additional cost might, it would still be beneficial to look at the plan with even if it costs a little bit more.
Can I ask you what coinsurance is?
Yeah, coinsurance is a percentage that retirees would pay once they reach the deductible. So under the current plan, once the retiree pays $100 out on medical services, then they would start paying 20% of every dollar up to the cap, the max out of pocket.
Okay, so in the new plan example, there is no out-of-pocket expense in network, but there's a max of $1,250. How would one reach $1,250?
Yeah, it would be very difficult because there's no medical services. The only thing right now on this plan that could come out as a cost for a retiree is acupuncture. And so acupuncture today is not covered on either of the plans.
Oh.
And so it'd actually be an enhancement to what you have today. But the benefit on this plan currently is 50%. So
Okay, well, that's an improvement.
yeah, it's an improvement, but that's the only thing on the entire medical side of benefits that would cost the retiree anything.
So if you go back one slide and we look at everything to that blue line, they're essentially, the potential is that they've saved $500 to that point on the
That's correct.
individual plan, right?
Well, and actually it would be 400 because the deductible counts towards the max,
Okay,
but you're right. It's
so
400.
400.
Yep.
So at that point, they've saved $400. So I think the, I know we're talking about a group that probably has a lot of prescriptions, but you got to work pretty hard to get to $400 at $2 at a time. Right? I'm trying to offset the same or better argument.
Yeah, we would agree, Bill.
Okay.
You know, even on the pharmacy retail, the 210 is better than the 520 today. So retirees going to the pharmacy are getting a better benefit too.
Yeah.
It's really the mail order that's different. It's the $0 versus the $2.
Yeah, that's true. And I forgot. That's a good point. I mean, certainly, I think if they'll come back and go to $0, that's, that's great. Can you? So you can't get a 90-day supply from the in-person pharmacy?
You can, but you pay 3 copays. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I guess it would be in the communication, just making, if it was the $2, which, it's not a lot, but I would just hate to get hung up on that. So I guess it would be the communication, showing them that they really are saving in the other areas that's going to far outweigh the $2.
And
I think-
Lisa, you're right on, because it's the educating our folks and communicating these things, because without that, they're going to look at this at its face value and not connect the pieces, just like Bill was doing, to realize that, that there are, benefits that are built into this that, if you're not really digging, you're not going to see it. So it's incumbent upon all of us to communicate and educate our people really well. Because they keep harping back to that one, that'll be the one thing that keeps them saying, that's the thing, it's not as good,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and we are used to communicating, this is part of what we would do on your behalf, is share this information, and we can definitely drill down to be more specific. We wouldn't show the retirees the 1.5, the total premium stuff. We would be much more drilled down to them specifically. So I think we heard that we should at least ask to see what the impact would be, but still there's value in the benefits as they stand because there's, at the retail, they're still better, kind of like pro and con. There's some enhancements that could outweigh that zero generic.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep. It's worth asking.
Yeah.
But I would think that we would still want to, I don't know. I mean, the committee, do you have any comments? I would think that we would still want to move forward with communicating with the retirees and at least getting that far.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And I did, we didn't get to it, but obviously the premium savings here, this is total premium. And so you're looking at over 1.5 million in savings. And for the committee's sake, I know, Lisa, we've talked about this, but a lot of the big question is, well, how is this even possible? How is the rate a fraction? And it's because when you're a post 65 retiree, Medicare is primary. And so 80% of all medical services are getting paid by Medicare first before they actually hit the active plan. And so that's how they're able to be so competitive.
So I do have a question. They're required to have the Medicare. Is that something that they would automatically have, or is that something that they would have to buy into? Is it optional for the retiree?
Good question. If they're already a retiree post 65, they're already enrolled in Medicare Part A and Part B. And so they would need to have Part A and Part B in order to enroll in the Medicare Advantage plan. But
That's required already,
correct.
even if, this wasn't part of the discussion. So we're not asking them to get Medicare Part A or Part B at a cost to them that they wouldn't have anyway.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And that's the only requirement, the Part A and Part B, they don't have to have the D or anything like that.
Nope, because this is actually encompasses the D.
Okay.
This is, yep. A, B, and D.
Okay.
There were, I think, worthy of a few other comments or comments about benefits that might be worth mentioning. So Bill, you already pointed out the fact that there's no deductible on this. There's, they're going to save that $400 in medical services. And so we highlighted in blue here where, previously it was subject to deductible or not covered. And so we've highlighted those enhancements here. We talked about the acupuncture. The other thing that we wanted to make sure we highlighted is many retirees love the fact that they get additional vision and hearing benefits through these plans. They get annual eye exam, hearing exams. There's a $100 eyewear allowance built into this plan, which matches your current plan today.
Can they stack?
Also,
can they stack them? Use them both?
No, it wouldn't be. Well, because it's going to replace the current. So these people are really going to come off, they're going to be on this plan. So they will only get a $100 eyewear allowance, but that can be stackable, Bill, to if they had like another vision plan through a spouse or something.
For a second, I was looking at the left-hand side as Medicare. Never mind. Go ahead. Actually, can you go back one? The chiropractic line I know was a concern for a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So chiropractic services are included. We've also added additional enhanced riders that include more than your standard Medicare covered services. So this includes expanded services beyond this traditional chiropractic Medicare coverage. So it's the most robust chiro coverage you can have.
Zero is incredible for that.
Yep.
A $0 copay for chiropractic is incredible.
Yeah, these are definitely you could consider it's a very custom plan, to say the least. Being able to leverage 3,000 retirees. And so. Any other questions on that page before okay. I know it's hard to see. We'll make sure that you have a copy if you don't already have it, but there's a hearing aid allowance or a discount for hearing aids. They can get a hearing aid for like as low as $700 or $999. And I'm not a hearing aid expert, but generally they could be like $2,000–3,000 or so. So that's definitely an enhancement. Durable medical equipment is also covered at $0. Diabetic supplies covered at $0. Everything's $0. The last thing, or the last couple of things you'll see here, Silver and Fit program, that's included in this. So all of your retirees will know what that is. It's a gym membership. Many gyms participate, local YWCAs. They pay a $25 annual fee and they get access to any of those gyms that participate. They now have a home program for $10 per year. And then we did note here the enhanced riders, chiropractic, PT, acupuncture, enhanced Part D drugs. And we actually removed step therapy. That's another thing that we removed from here. So in the transition, when the retirees go from the current plan to the Medicare Advantage plan, normally what would happen is with step therapy, carriers would require you to try a generic drug first before you try a brand name drug. And so we've removed that requirement under this to allow the transition to be smoother for retirees. So if they're already taking a brand name drug, we're not going to make them prove that they tried a generic or go back and try a generic. They're just going to automatically be approved. So it just helps eliminate any of the questions through transition. So at this point, I know this is the first time that you all are seeing this. We've shared this, as I mentioned, we have several districts that are interested. We feel like this is a very equivalent plan. We got to look at that one generic piece. We'll take that back. What other questions or discussion may be out there?
So how do we reach out to the retirees? How does that work? You do that, we do that, we send letters, or how do we get that going?
Yeah, so it's usually a joint effort. We have a letter already ready to go. We've shared it with another district already in the same process. So we have a canned letter which talks about how the district is always looking to, offer quality benefits, control costs. The part of that letter can include virtual educational meetings. So where we would set up retiree meetings, we would have, a presentation similar to this with more specific details about the benefits themselves and explain, the timing of it, answer questions.
Mm-hmm.
But really, we would be involved in helping you with the letter. We would be involved in actually communicating and doing the presentation itself. And then we can do it a combination of ways. I think many of us now are living the virtual world. So that's, certainly something that we're capable of doing, and we can do many of them. We can record them. They can be available after the fact. We did have one district ask us if we can come in person, and we're certainly willing to accommodate that need if you feel like that's something that we want to go down to. So, I think we're flexible in general, and I'm going to ask Jack or maybe to jump in here, but usually it's a 90-day implementation window. That's kind of the gold standard, perfect world. We'd like to have 90 days to say, okay, this makes sense. And then we start the process. The process starts with, the communication to the retirees, and then there's behind the scenes, working with the carrier.
What is your experience with the changeover? if they're not on the current plan anymore, then I'm assuming they would get new cards or something like that. I mean, has
Yeah.
that gone smoothly? Because that could be a disaster if, they don't get their cards on time. And
Yes, we do. It's a very important piece of the process. We have it's a pretty thorough implementation timeline where we're having weekly calls with the carrier and or you at the group level. We would work it out so that the ID cards are really the last thing that gets done. So we work through the communication, the implementation of the system, and then typically if let's just say July 1st effective date, we're going to be shipping ID cards out in early June. So retirees get their ID cards middle of June for a July 1st effective date.
okay. All right. So then the next step would be you sending your cookie cutter letter, and then we would mail it out to our retirees, correct? Get some meetings set up?
Yeah, and exactly.
Okay. I mean, I'm good with it. I don't know if Bill or Jamie or Tom, if you have any comments.
I mean, other than, certainly appreciate your time today. Yeah, no, I'm excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, sounds great. So, okay. So I guess then we, if you can send that to me, we'll get working on it and we'll be in touch with you.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll have a
Get that
follow up.
moving.
Yeah, we'll put it
Absolutely.
together, Lisa, and we'll suggest some dates and times.
Okay.
And then you let us know if they work or not.
Okay.
So we'll kind of follow your lead, but we'll follow up with a letter and then we'll go from there.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and going through that. If we have questions, I guess, we can email them to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, anything that comes up throughout any time, please feel free to reach out, and thank you all for taking some time today.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right. So oh, Jamie's here twice. He's really enjoying our meeting.
You're on mute.
I don't know if I can unmute him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes,
I get video on one device and sound on another.
you're echoing.
I won't talk.
Okay. Okay. So that was the presentation that I had seen before, and that's the one that our current carrier is offering. So it sounds pretty good. So it can't, and they do all the communication. So I think it's worth it to get it, at least try it. Try to get it through.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for arranging this.
I'd like to be on that insurance, actually. So,
I'll tell you, I don't normally see insurance that's better than what I have. That was.
yeah. And I guess because it covers what is not covered by the insurance that they already have. So, that's kind of, and I had no idea actually until they did their presentation the first time that we have any eye coverage. I've been, I have some through my husband, but I've been paying the difference. I could have turned it in all these years and I had no idea. So I learned something about our coverage there too. Anyway, so we'll move on to the financial piece. It's not just the financial memorandum, but the financial piece of the board agenda for tomorrow. We have the bond resolution. I sent some wording to our bond attorney because I worded it how I think it should be worded. But I just want to double check with them. So,
Okay.
and I will send that to you. It's basically what it says in the front, but we say resolve to approve or authorize as presented, blah, 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 as presented. So I did make up my own, but I'll just double check on that.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, and we'll get that to you. The tax cert, and I also sent you, the tax petition sheet, and that is to settle the Abner Doubleday. What the resolution will do there is allow our attorney to settle it and then have it come back and let you approve it, let Bill approve it. So this authorizes Bill to sign that once they get that through. So, and we do want to settle as soon as possible. So we just want to have that resolution there so that we're prepared to sign it as soon as they settle, because if it drags into next year, then that's another year of refund that we'll have to do. Okay. So that's the purpose of that. So if any others come up and they're up to that amount, that authorizes Bill to sign that and then bring it to the board at the next meeting if we don't have time. So that's what that's all about. And we've done that before when Jamie was president and we needed them signed. We just had this kind of generic authorization for Jamie to be able to sign. So we've done this before.
So
Lisa,
Yes.
I don't know if you can hear me good or not, but the only
Yes.
thing I'll suggest, if we have any, as we get closer to the time when they cut the bills, that's when we get these issues whereby we have gaps and we have to eat money because it didn't get adjusted in time and stuff whatnot. So I don't know when they do that, but I think June-ish, they even start having BOCES or whoever print the bills before, the September bill. So.
Well,
something-
yeah, they do finalize the numbers, and it's frustrating because, they ask you to go through and approve the tax bills, and that there have been changes that are not reflected on there. And once they do that, you're right, they won't change it, even if you tell them, it's wrong. So we do want to get it approved and out of here as soon as possible. And then at the end of the year, we'll adjust the tax certiorari reserve like we usually do. And if these come off there, that'll leave us about $44,000 in potential liabilities. So we would pay this, $39,000, and then we're left with 44. So we do have money in the tax cert reserve now. So that would cover this.
So we think that they're going to settle it at what they've petitioned for?
I think they petitioned for less, but no, what I put in the petitioned assessment is what they're taking to trial now, and they think that they will settle for that. So I did change it
Okay.
to reflect what I think both parties are agreeable to now, the town and Abner Doubleday. Okay, so that would be the refunds, those two $19,000 amounts. So, but we don't want another 19,000. So, yeah, okay.
And what's UPS is the same color as the Doubleday ones? Are they?
That's not really highlighted for any reason. UPS, those are the ones that are in the town of Oneonta. And as far as I know, UPS has not been settled yet. So, and that's one of those that comes up pretty much every year.
The petition all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But it's not that much.
and Marty Patton's looking to get paid for past years?
Yes. Yep, he wouldn't settle. They were trying to get it to settle, moving forward with no refunds, and it doesn't sound like that's going to fly. So, but I guess in order to get it settled, we may just have to, eat that, and so that we don't have it moving forward. Okay, I have two computers here and I keep using the wrong mouse. Okay, so the financial memorandum, I guess the thing to point out there, I mean, the Auctions International and the cooperative gas bid, those are annual things that we do. We do list a lot of things on Auction International. And we have a couple of our annual bids, the athletic field bid. the refuse and removal recyclable bid, that's always been kind of a competition between Waste Recovery and Casella. And every time they come in, they're always, trying to get just a little bit below the other one. And Waste Recovery has been, getting it for years, but Casella, I guess they finally, said, okay, we're going to get it this time. And they did. So they were lower. It's actually lower than a little bit lower than what we're paying now. So, but the thing, I guess the important or the big thing on there is the Durham School Services Addendum. And that is, I don't know if you recall, but when we were doing the bidding, they did their whole calculation based on, our number of routes and things like that. And they wanted a thing in the contract, where it said that they were guaranteed these routes or the 176 days. And we said, well, of course there's going to be, that's, the law, and that'll never happen where we'll have less than that. And then it did happen. So they did, we did talk about that. And we said, if this happens, if it ever happens, which it never would, we'll go back and, work something out. So that's what this is. This is basically the days if we're below routes, and we're really not below routes right now. But the thing is that we have some days like Wednesdays, where they're not running the routes. So this agreement would allow us to pay them 50% for those days. And I know that's still up in the air with the state. They still haven't talked about what they're going to do, if they're going to pay it or not. But they definitely won't pay it if it's not part of our contract. So we do need to keep the staff on. We can't, say, okay, you're laid off every Wednesday. So, I think it's important for our relationship, with Durham to do this. And we did say we would go back and revisit it if this ever happened, and it has. So that's what that is about. It's paying 50% of our regular routes for the days not in session. They have been, just so you know, they have been doing the meal deliveries without charging us. So guess they could potentially put that on as a route, and they haven't, and we would have paid full price for it.
And there still are Wednesday routes, just not as many, because it's, our kids aren't heading to school, but we still have kids that we ship around. So.
Okay, so that's what that is about, just so you know. And I think, yeah, the rest is pretty standard there.
Is the Durham contract part of the backup?
It should be. Let me see. Yeah, yes. It says that it's amendment number 1. It starts on page 5.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And this was the original, the terms of that.
Speaking of Durham, did you see the Utica School District, the city school district?
No.
They went out to bid. They were Bernie. They chose Durham, and Bernie is suing them for not following the rules, basically. And they said, what do you mean? We went out to RFP, we picked the most responsible bidder, and because they approved it on a consent agenda, and they didn't have time to discuss it.
Well, it doesn't seem like they're going to win that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing Utica's name with that, because they've had some issues, weren't they, in the newspaper with Bernie before?
Yeah.
So, and I think, Bernie's just gotten themselves in trouble because nobody considers them the lowest responsible bidder. It's that responsible word.
Yeah.
But okay, and I sent you, were there any other questions on any of that?
No.
So I sent you just a PowerPoint of kind of where we are with the budget right now. And it looks big. It looks like a big gap. And I know that there's a lot of talk out there right now with the federal stimulus. We don't know what that means to the Oneonta City School District specifically. So really, just like every other year, our budget is kind of riding on, what the state actually comes out with, what they give us. So right now, I think we've put, our best proposal together, and now we just have to look, we just have to wait and see what the state aid is going to be. So,
So correct me if I'm wrong, this stimulus money, really the state's saying, well, we're going to hold back some of our money and give you the federal money instead. So it's not extra money for us.
currently, it's not. Right, Tom? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and of course you have a considerable degree of lobbying taking place. So this isn't to supplant, but to supplement. So, but there's been no, official, guidance on any of that right now. So yeah, no, you're right, Bill.
Right, we don't know if the state is going to take more back, and fill it in with the federal stimulus. So I think, I hope we get some more. I think we will, but I don't know what that number is right now. And another big piece of that is we're hoping that they don't have that grouped services aid, so that, that our expense-based aids flow like they should, like the BOCES and the transportation. I mean, we've had some significant increases in what we're paying, with the services that we're getting for transportation and BOCES. So if they lump that all in together and just, call it one, that's not going to help us at all.
So in your presentation, you have highlights of general support, total increase $160,000. Is that if it's not lumped together?
No, that is lumped together. So right now, what I have in there is the governor's proposal. So that's the worst case scenario.
Okay, so that increase of $160,000, what's our spend increase for that category?
That's your spend increase. And let me see. And then I tried to go through the next page that tells you kind of what's causing that increase of 160,000. And the major points of that, that maintains our current positions, and that's the purchase of a truck, which is about $50,000. BOCES administration and capital was an increase of 30-some thousand dollars.
Okay, so I guess I don't understand what general support is, because I read that as we were getting an increase of $160,000 to us for general support area.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the budget part, not the revenue side. So first it goes through our budget. And so let me see. So this is our proposed expenditures. I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you were asking. The proposed increase of the general support. So if you go to, there's a page after the propositions, and it says proposed, and this tells you what's included in that general support. So it's the Board of Education. Let me pull up the PowerPoint and see what, it's slide 7.
Okay.
So slide 7 tells you the items that are included in general support. And the total is about 3.7 million, and that's about $161,000 increase from the current budget. So, and in those areas that maintains all the current positions, there's a purchase of a truck for grounds. It reflects the increase in BOCES administration and capital. And then we had some of the, we have the service contracts, the preventative maintenance contracts. So some of those have increased a little bit. So that's basically, that's a good chunk of the $160,000 increase. Okay.
Okay. It was just the title that threw me off. Okay.
And should I maybe say total budget increase? Or total? I mean, I can change the wording there. If it doesn't, if it's confusing, then I should probably change it because it might be confusing for other
I
people.
would just say general support expenditure increase.
Okay. Yep, I can do that.
I think that's good because someone who doesn't actually know is just going to be see support and increase and think that is some way a benefit to us.
Yeah.
So general support expenditure increase, is that what you
Right.
just said? Okay. General support. Okay, I got it.
And I
I'm gonna
think-
change it right now.
And I think the same thing on slide 10, the same kind of change, take highlights of. And is that, we're spending $978,000 less in instruction?
No, that should be, I have to take those parentheses out. No, it's
Okay.
more.
Darn.
So that's actually a lot because, you're going to have the 2 years of increases in there. So, because last year we didn't have the increase, the OTA increase. So we have to make up for last year and, because the salaries will be bumped up.
In the budget.
So, yeah.
Right.
So that's why it's a lot. It shouldn't normally be that much. And then the slides go through what's included in there and how much. And you can see our regular instruction and our special education are the bulk of that. And then the, technology. So that's where it should be.
I'm wondering if we ought to have that line in the retroactive salary increases, because it sounds like we're paying for all of it in next year's budget.
So take that out.
It's a negotiated salary increase.
Did that get finalized?
They're actually, they're probably ratifying it as we speak. We took it
What's
off.
that?
It's getting ratified today, Jamie. They're meeting today.
So I'll
was
take-
that- So what ended up happening?
We took it off of this agenda because it hadn't been ratified by their unit yet. Nothing is a done deal until it's signed. So we took it off. We'll put it on the next meeting agenda. Even though I'll probably hear something today. I've already heard from people that they're very appreciative, not, to you all and to the administration for moving in that direction. But still, nothing is done until it's all signed. So we bumped it to the next board agenda.
Yeah, but what is it? Because I didn't know that we had it finalized.
You mean what's that, Bill?
3%.
Yeah, 3%.
Okay.
So I took that line off of there. The retroactive salary increases. And I guess I just put that in there because it looks like a big number, at once, but I can explain it if there's a question about it.
Yeah.
So we'll just take that off. And then you may remember last year we took out all the equipment. So, we we generally were doing we had $100,000 line for technology. It seems like technology is pretty important now. So this is putting all of that back in, and plus we have, multiple softwares that we hadn't had before. So, they're good things, they're helping us. But we have to get them back in the budget. This also includes summer school. So there are some extra things in there, some enhancements, I guess, from last year. And then the rest of it, I think, is pretty straightforward. This will be year 2 of the 5-year contract with Durham. And that is one of those required disclosures. So, because it is a multi-year contract, so we need to disclose that. The benefits just give you a summary of, what we're paying and how much with the percents. So if you go to the last slide, it tells you the changes by category, and that is slide
15.
15. Yes, 15. So you can see that most of the budget increase, it looks like a big number. It's actually, it's under 4%. It does look like a big number, but most of it is the salary and benefit line, and then technology. So that makes sense, I think. So the health insurance, I think that's on a previous page. We are getting a refund from our health insurance plan. I think it's 190, there's a return of $192,000, 192,474. So they stopped that a couple years ago. Of course, when we would have been eligible was the year they stopped it. So anyway, this year we do have an excess in our fund balance with Broome Tioga. So they will be returning that. So I've reduced the health insurance line by that much because I know that we're getting the refund. They've already guaranteed that we will get that. Okay. So that's why the health insurance, it would be up more, but it's only up 183,000 right now because I reduced it by that 192. Okay. And then the chart shows, you can see that we spend the most, like we should, on program and the least on the administrative portion of the budget. So that's just a visual for that. 17 goes on the anticipated revenues. So the property tax, I have the asterisk there because that's obviously going to change. That's a 6.1% increase in property taxes. So right now, that's just where it all flows until we get a good idea of what the state aid picture is going to be. So hopefully that state aid line will go up and the property tax line will go down. Okay, so
with your asterisks, you're trying to make that point that that's not a real number?
yes.
I think you should put that in a note at the bottom of this slide because this is going to get posted on the website. And while you will say that in your presentation, somebody who downloads this is going to go, holy cow.
Okay. Yeah. And I will do it on this slide. The next slide it goes through, you're right, but it looks like that's set like a 6.1 increase. And yes. So I will do something there to make sure that we know that number is not staying there. Okay. Yeah, and then the next line just goes through some of that.
Can you just put what our levy would be, assuming we go with the max levy increase?
Yes. Yep. You know what? Maybe I'll insert a slide in there just for the tax information. This is the tax cap. This is the amount of the cap. And then here's what it is right now until we adjust our state aid numbers. But we, don't plan to go out that way.
I wouldn't even put the number out there. We're never gonna have this number. I mean, basically what you will show is that we're not gonna have enough revenue to meet our budget until we find out what the state says. But if you put a tax number out there that really isn't realistic and we're never gonna do, it doesn't make any sense to have it there.
Okay. So that's what I'll do. I'll put the number in where we are with the tax cap. And then on the bottom, say that this is the gap right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then on the miscellaneous notes, our salary and benefits, the portion that they comprise of our budget it was 69 point something last year, and now it's 70.18. So it's mostly people that our budget is made of. And I think that's it. So that's a general overview. We're doing the slides that detail, there's one that's, I think it's about 55 slides long, and it shows all the expenditures and revenues in detail. So that will also get posted on the website once we finalize what we're doing, and hopefully that'll be soon. So, okay, but this pretty much maintains what we have and has some enhancements.
So kind of a meeting thing here. How is this going to be displayed to people attending via Zoom?
It's a good question.
I hadn't thought about that, but I will ask if I can share the screen. They'll have a screen, right?
They will. We just have to sort through that a little bit just to make sure what kind of, it's not interactive capability, but we need to just make sure that that will work in this, through this platform.
Yeah, I think if Lisa is an attendee in the meeting and she has her laptop there, then during the meeting, if you just share, that should work.
Yeah, because we also have, we also have a recorded message from those who are trying to pilot that club in the middle school. So I know that Colleen and Bonnie were working on that today. It seemed like it was going to be fine. And I would imagine that in this particular case, Lisa can just share her screen as well. And
so how are we in the room going to see those things?
Well, that's where it gets a little tricky. So, that's a thing that they're trying to iron out because it didn't work so well last time.
You know what I can also do, just in case things, don't work out. What I can do is load it on the district's on the website before the meeting. And then if it doesn't work, I can just direct people to the website so they can pull it up and look at it while we're talking about it. Do you want me to have printed copies for the board?
I was just contemplating that.
That might be a good backup, just in case.
Just in
If you
case.
put 2 slides on one sheet,
I could. I think it might be too squished on some of those slides.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But let me look at it and see what it looks like. If it's too squished, I probably won't.
Yeah.
But maybe I just won't do yours, and I won't print them out in color or anything like that.
No, black and white.
Yeah, black and white, and hopefully we can get it up on the screen. But I will load it on the website before the meeting. So that way, if it doesn't come on the screen, people can at least click on our website and follow along.
Okay, that sounds
Okay. Okay. So I don't know, was there anything else? I don't have anything else.
No, thank you.
good. Oh, thanks.
All right.
That insurance thing's really exciting. I can't imagine people would complain. There's really, I think they make out better. I really do.
And they do. We just need a person, that those folks to really sell it for
Yeah.
what it really is. There's no sleight of hand here. On the surface, it's good, but many people aren't going to dig into it like they should. And I think that's partly what happened with, with our other units.
Yeah.
And
And I
here's
think-
go ahead. If they do accept that and they take that, that would take care of our budget cap as it is right now.
Yeah.
So,
It's, I mean, the acupuncture, I mean, that's an addition. They're not getting that now.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
and the chiropractic coverage is,
Yeah.
I mean, if they harp on that $2, I mean, I can show them, I mean, what do you have to have? 200 prescriptions?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Wait.
funny though, what people get stuck on sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we could get it the same, it would just be easier, then there's nothing there that's not better.
Yeah, I agree.
But we'll see what they come back with. And I think, though, it sounds like they communicate, as much as we need them to communicate with the retirees. I have talked to Cooperstown, and I didn't know that this was the plan that they were on. And she said that when they switched their plan, I wasn't aware that it was this one, but she said she has not had one complaint from any retirees since they switched it. So I think it's a pretty good plan.
I mean, from what we just saw, it's a really, really good plan.
Maybe we could reach out to some friendly retirees who may have been on the board in the past and ask them to be our advocates.
Yeah. Hey, list, anything helps,
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we can look through and see
Well-
who's the 65 and older.
and who else? There's been, I can picture her. I can't, anyway.
well, Lisa, you, me, and Reggie, we'll sit down and we'll take a look at our retirees and see who we might be able to reach out to.
Okay.
I mean, I think there'll be quite a few people on that list.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good idea, Bill.
Okay.
Okay, good stuff.
All
Great.
right.
Go enjoy some
thank you.
sun.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right,
See you later,
See you
everyone.
tomorrow.
Bye.
I gotta run. Bye.
Take care.